Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Sporks Research Division inside Kerbal Space Program .24. One thing I want to go ahead and get out of the way is I recently hit 400 subscribers, and that is awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I am excited to see where we go from here. Alright, with that nonsense out of the way, on the docket today we have a moon mission, and you can probably tell right now I'm doing post commentary. I recorded this mission and realized my mic was muted. So this is going to be done post commentary style. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we have a couple contracts. One to get science in orbit around Kerbin, and then one to explore the moon, which we have to land. Or first we have to get science orbiting the moon. Then we have to land and return with science from the surface of the moon, which pretty simple. Unlocked struts and fuel lines and everything, so I was pretty able to make a relatively cheap asparagus style launch system here. And the way I have it set up is we're going to be rendering with just the capsule, and I have the two science mystery goo junior containers, or mystery goo containment units, whatever they're called, uh, around the a lower stage, our landing stage, and that's going to come into play a little bit later. You'll see what I mean. There's a couple things that I really wish that I was able to record my live commentary, and you'll see those here soon. So, but yeah, it was a pretty straightforward mission. I had to take Jeb, and that's one thing that we're going to do is switch out Jeb here soon, because I guess there's diminishing returns with the amount of rep that you get, because he didn't get very much for this mission. I think he got something like 9, somewhere around 9 rep. So he'll probably have to be retired after this mission. Start using Bill or Bob or somebody completely different. I don't know. Maybe a white shirt. Who knows? But yeah, pretty simple mission. I cut it down a little bit. It was like a 35-minute long recording I had, and I'm also trying a different recording style. I'm using a open broadcast system. I really like it because it's very flexible, very low CPU impact, and I'm able to either record, my whole desktop like I'm doing with my Dwarf Fortress series that I got going right now. If you're into that kind of stuff, if you like strategy and fantasy and very in-depth games, and you don't mind old school type graphics, I'm using a graphics pack, so it's not ASCII. But yeah, if you don't mind that kind of stuff, and me being a complete noob, you might want to go ahead and check that out. But so yeah, I'm using OBS with that, so I can you see, I just jumped to the moon here. I figured there's no reason showing the insertion. Uh, but yeah, if anyways, what I was talking about OBS. Anyways, um, I'm using that so I can show some external programs like the Dwarf Therapist and everything. So I figured I get very small file sizes with hardly any loss in quality. So I figured I'd go ahead and try it out here and see how it goes. And so far it looks pretty good. But yeah, so there might be a little bit of difference in quality or brightness, whatever. I still have it set to in Sony Vegas to do some post-process brightening, because this game gets very dark, especially when you're on the dark sides of the planets. Um, and after rendering, it always appears to be much darker than it really is. So I have just a standard gamma brightener put on the track where it has the video. So we'll see how it looks after this comes out. And I might have to adjust here and there. The only thing I don't like is if I want a separate track for my voice and the game audio, I have to use Audacity, and that just gives a little bit extra work where you have to sync up the footage if you're doing live and everything. But post commentary, it doesn't really matter because I can record straight with Sony Vegas like I'm doing right now while I watch the playback. But yeah, here we go. We're getting ready to do the burn to get to the surface of the moon, and I line it up so we'll be landing in the bright spot, which is always good, so everyone involved can see what they're doing and see what's going on. So that's not too bad. And I was getting a little worried when I was actually doing my slow burn to reduce the speed of the actual lander. Because with a delta V that I had figured out, I actually did a little bit of delta V figuring out earlier. I had way too much in my launch stage and way too much thrust to weight ratio, but I figured I'd go ahead and go with it. And I had just enough with the lander to be able to use a little bit like I just did, to slow down a little bit and to actually leave. I think I ended up with like maybe 80 delta V, which is plenty for something this small. Once I actually finally get lined up to re-enter the atmosphere of Kerbin, and I use it up because I mean I'm gonna ditch it and it's gonna cost me money anyways because I'm not gonna be able to bring it back. So I figured I'd go ahead and burn it to slow me down a little bit. And here we go. Our first touchdown on the moon is with the contract update with first contract 0.24. Pretty excited. It went off without a hitch. I come in very nice and slow, and there we are. And I was also worried about my electric charge, but as you can see, I have plenty. So I turn off SAS just to make sure, and I go ahead and get my science. I'm having some issues with screen flickering and interacting with objects, with right-clicking in particular. You can see my mouse, move away and then come back. I'm just trying to trying to get the menus go away and everything, and menus to pop up, and it's not responding very well. I have to do it several times sometimes. I don't know if that's a bug with the actual update or Unity or just something wrong with my settings or what, but it's annoying. Like once I plant the flag and try to get the context menu right there to go away, it takes a few seconds, but that's something that I can live with. It's nothing too bad. And I think I name it the SRD first moon landing, something like that. It's kind of funny because once I get back, I check the new contracts, and there's a contract to plant a flag on the moon. So I don't know if that was there before or if it just showed after, it just random or whatever. I really don't know how the contracts are how they're done, but it's kind of like I already have a flag on the moon, but I'm sure we'll be going back to the moon eventually anyways. And you see the screen shake violently whenever I grab the ladder. It does that later on too once well, I don't want to talk about that. That's one of the things that almost cost me the whole mission. In a little bit, you'll see. But yeah, whenever I grabbed into the ladder, the screen vibrated very rapidly, and I don't know if that's a bug. But right here, I forget to turn my SAS back on, and it almost cost me the mission right here. This is part 1 of 2 that almost cost me the mission, and then I realized, oh, that's the reason it's not okay. Probably about 10 meters off the ground right there, if that. And then I realized, okay, there's a crater here beside me. I better check it out. And yeah, I cut it a little too close for comfort. Right here, right about here is where I also start worrying about my delta V, because I start noticing, my fuel's running a little low. But luckily, this thing is pretty small, so you don't need much, especially coming from the surface of the moon. So that actually becomes a non-issue, and you'll see me getting ready to. I check everything, and I set up a maneuver node just to verify that I have enough, and I use Kerbal Engineer to make sure that I am within the range of getting back at least into the atmosphere. Eventually, it would be able to slow me down. Say I have like 500 there, and I decided to go ahead right here and check it. And I figure if I can at least get into the atmosphere, maybe around 60 kilometers, it'll eventually, if I have to wait, several orbits, it'll eventually bring me in. And right here I realize, yeah, I have plenty. So I think I even just go ahead and get rid of the maneuver node, yeah, and I just burn until I get it with like 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, something like that. And yeah, it'd be pretty smooth, all except for the near miss with the launch from the surface of the moon. It was almost very bad. Almost had to chalk this one up to a rescue mission, I think. And I don't know how that works with the contracts. Like, are the contracts player specific or Kerbal specific or launch specific? I have no idea. So that's something I'm sure that I can find out in the forums or the wiki or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're probably save file specific, whichever contract you accept. As long as you don't the time doesn't expire, you should be good. I think that's what I would. That's what I hope. That's what I imagine. And right here, this is the second time that almost ruined the whole mission. Is I remember here in a few minutes, I remember that all my science, all my goo is stored in the lower stages that I'm going to disconnect, and I don't realize that until I think about 90 kilometers above the surface. I think right about here, I was like, uh-oh. So, no, it's still a little bit later. It's pretty close. It's way too close for comfort, and I have to EVA to get the mystery goo. Oh yeah, right here's where I just go ahead and decide to burn the rest of the fuel because I'm not going to get money for it anyways. Might as well use it to slow me down. Let's see. It should be coming up where I realize that my mystery goo is going to be lost if I don't EVA. Yeah, I was like, I start panicking. I don't have much time because I'm coming in to the atmosphere pretty soon. You know, I have 30 kilometers I can play with, but me being out of practice, it takes me forever to collect everything. So a close call. Not the end of the. I mean, I think I still have a surface sample and an EVA report from the surface of the moon. I think we would have still been able to. Yeah, see the screen shake. Yeah, I got in with 70 and 76. I had 600 or 6 kilometers, 6 kilometers to play with before I would have re-entered the atmosphere. But yeah, I think we would have been fine if I wouldn't have been able to get it, as long as I was able to get my carbon back into the capsule. Yeah, there's a little bit more of the screen flashing. Seems to only happen for me that I remember noticing or in the atmosphere of Kerbin. But as far as grabbing on the ladders and the screen shaking violently, that's happened in orbit on the surface of the moon and just then. So I think I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely not anything that's breaking the game or anything. So yeah, I guess while we're watching this reentry, I go ahead and thank you guys again for subscribing and supporting. Most of my subs have definitely come from a Kerbal Space Program materials, so I definitely want to start recording this more and getting this out. I know it's been a few days since my last episode, but the thing about Kerbal Space Program with me at least, I can't just hop in and just start playing and reporting. I have to think about what I'm doing, and sometimes I don't have the time or the drive to prepare. It does take a little bit of preparation with this stuff like a Dwarf Fortress or anything else like World of Warcraft, stuff like that. I can just get in and play, and because it's not, especially Dwarf Fortress, it's not mindless, but it's just I'm learning, so it's kind of anything I do I want to record because it's going to probably end horrifically and hopefully pretty funny. And like World of Warcraft, you can just do post commentary or leave your commentary in whenever. Like I've been playing with my buddy, and I've just been editing it up. But yeah, so I really should have cut this part. Pretty pretty uh pretty boring just coming into the atmosphere. Nothing out of the ordinary happens here. I think we get something like 350 science, something like that. I was able to unlock quite a bit, so we're gonna be able to do a lot here soon. Let's see. Hurry up. Yeah, I should have edited this all out. But hey, hindsight, And I'm still editing right now technically because I'm doing the post commentary in Sony Vegas, but I can get lazy. I go ahead and decide to get the extra science, any bit of science I can. And that's one thing about the contracts is that you're really not hurting for science, especially if you do the bigger contracts. Like this one to the moon, it was pretty crazy how much science I got, and I wasn't even going for the science except for the science I needed for the mission. I was just doing the contracts. I got a ton. Let's see. Yeah, I got I can't quite read 352, something like that, I think. And the different contracts, I've completed all 4 that we had except for the test the radio parachute. I still haven't done that. I decided to go ahead and just put that off. I don't think it expires, so even if it does, it's not that big of a contract. So all the different fuel and the contracts, and yeah, Jeb only got I think like 9. And look, I was surprised, over 100,000 funds and 300 rep, and just everything piling on. It's crazy. Like you can see right there, I have 305,000 funds, and I'm almost in the blue with my reputation. And now on to the tech tree. Go ahead and head towards the batteries and solar panels. I think go ahead and make sure that we are able to keep charged. And I think I finished up the 4th tier right there as well. Go ahead and get the Science Junior some more parts, some more batteries. And I think I go for that one eventually. I just go ahead and pick up a few more. It's just some basic parts. I don't think I go for anything big yet because I can't get the big command pod or anything like that. And see me, I think I'm checking, see what all pieces I have, and I think the command pod is on this tier right here, or at least one of them, one of the more expensive. Long story short, I'd just go ahead and decide not to get the big parts and just get some more science instruments and the I think I get the what is the part called? Where oh yeah, I get some RCS and some more control. Yeah, that part is too expensive, so I don't get that. Well, what is the part that cleans the science? I think I get that piece. I think I get this tier right here. But I don't like again. I don't have any of the pieces to actually send up into space. That's something later. But I think we go into the contract building as well, and I pick up some stuff there. And this is where I find out that there's the contract for to plant the flag. And I pick up some more. I think some more moon missions and everything. And yeah, hopefully next episode I'll be able to do some live commentary if I remember to unmute my mic. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. So as always, I appreciate you watching and stay tuned for more.